37% into the Sound of Stars. By the way, you chose the Sound of Stars. If you clicked on this video and you're seeing this, obviously you chose the Sound of Stars. I am enjoying it, and I'm having a good time, but I'm not having a great time. That's how I feel. I think that sums it up. Not a lot of thoughts, but I feel like I have enough thoughts to update you. I can't tell if it's the book or if it's me, because I feel like on paper there's a lot of things I am generally liking about this book and that I should like about this book, and I don't know if it's like because I'm on my period, I just don't feel enjoyment out of anything today, or if I'm just having an off day. But at the same time, it's not like I felt like I put this book down. I started it about a month ago and I put it down despite the fact thinking it was really cool and like, wow, what an interesting concept, but maybe it's just the execution. We follow this girl named Janelle and this alien Allori named Morris, or MO17 or something, I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna call him Morris for the hence of this video. She lives in this not like very near future. Aliens, the Allori, have essentially kind of taken over, and now they're kind of living in a post-apocalyptic, not a post-apocalyptic, because it's like currently, well, not like apocalyptic, but like the aliens are essentially trying to take over. They decided they want Earth, and they're taking over Earth, and I'm doing a terrible job at summarizing this up, but they've taken away everything. Like, they've taken away all like the creative art stuff, and they're also like, you know, injecting this vaccine into humans to mind control them. They're taking the arts because they think that by people using like artistic stuff like books and music and all that sorts of things, that the humans are secretly creating codes with each other. And so our main character Janelle is running a secret library. She has like 50 of her own private collection of books that she's kind of like lending out to people because people are struggling in this time, you know, struggling to just be alive, and, you know, they miss books and like that entertainment, you know, the buzz the arts gives them. And so she's been running this illegal library, books out to people out of her own collection. And what I like about that is, like, I feel like it's a bunch of books that are very relevant to us. Like, I think like The Hunger Games was obviously mentioned, but like, you know, I think, was The Cruel Prince mentioned? I can't remember if The Cruel Prince was mentioned or not. Some of Cassandra Clare books were mentioned. The Hate U Give was mentioned. The Hate U Give has been a very big part of this book, and it's very important to our main character too. She talked about, you know, what the book means to her, which I think is great. And then we also follow Morris, who is an Allori. He was made in a lab, and so he's not like, there's like the lab made Allori, and there's like the true Allori, so like they were just naturally born. And so he's one that was made in the lab, and he really he's kind of in charge of making this vaccine that's supposed to mind control humans. However, he doesn't completely want to, and he really likes music, which, you know, him listening to music is also illegal, but he's found a way to do it secretively, and he really likes the arts that the humans have come up with, and he doesn't want to see it all go to waste, and he's kind of desperate to find more music and latch onto the art. So he ends up teaming up with Janelle to kind of save it. They're trying to save all this stuff, all the art stuff, because they both like these things, and he's kind of learning more about like the books and stuff that she enjoys. And like, it's good. There's a lot of things to like about it, and like I feel like I can notice that it is good and that there are enjoyable aspects. There's things that I'm definitely really enjoying, but I think I just want to, I don't know if it's just that I want to love it more than I currently do, because I don't know, or if it's the book or if it's me, I can't tell. I feel like this book sounds amazing when I pitch it. I mean, I don't know if I pitched it that well. I feel like I'm in a kind of uncomfortable position. I thought this would be cute. It's not really working out. This is not the most attractive position either, but anyways, I really like our characters. I posted on like a update saying like when he's supposed to be evil but he's actually adorable, which is how I kind of feel about Morris. He's just really cute. I really like him, and I feel like I could definitely relate to Janelle a lot, and her, you know, her love for books, like when she talks about it. And like I can also relate to Morris and his love for music, because I also absolutely adore music. Like, a world without Taylor Swift, like my favorite books, like I don't want, not a world I want to live in. This would be terrible. Like, I can feel for the characters, because like I would understand, you know, not even just like the like terrible things that's what's going on, like, you know, like how that would be terrifying, but like
to lose these stories that and like like music that you like hold so dear to you, like losing what you hold dear. I think in general, like that are things, but like they mean a lot to you. I can not imagine. I mean, not imagine, like, but like I can imagine that it would be horrible. You can relate to the characters pretty easily in that sense, and I feel like they definitely have that kind of realness to them and like why they would be the way they are. I mean, I could definitely see people not relating to Morris as much, given, you know, he's an alien. But even so, I feel like you can still kind of relate to him to some extent, even if he's just like more distantly relatable. Or like, oh, well, he likes music and he genuinely wants to be good and he does care, which I appreciate. But I don't know, maybe we're at a point where I'm just not sure where the story's entirely going. Like they've kind of left and they're rebelling. I don't know what they're trying to do at the moment, actually. Maybe that's kind of hindering my enjoyment, but the characters have escaped and maybe it's just not as like fast paced as I want it to be. It's like kind of slow. So maybe that's the issue. It's just a slow book, and that's not necessarily bad, but I don't know. I'm not as interested as I want to be. Like I feel like it's easy to put this book down. It's not something I easily want to pick back up, and I can't explain why to that extent because like I don't know. Maybe it's not like a lot's happening. Like there's stuff that's definitely happening, but not a lot that I'm interested in. And I don't want to say like I'm not in the mood for this book. So I'm like maybe that's just what it was, but because I put it down a month ago. And I definitely was not in the mood for sci-fi then, but like I was very much in the mood for sci-fi yesterday, and like when I woke up this morning, I was in the mood to read a sci-fi book today. So I can't say I'm not in the mood for it. Or maybe I'm not in the mood to read. I don't know if that's it too. That could definitely be affecting me too. I'm just in an off mood today, and I don't want my mood to like hinder my enjoyment of this book too. So it might like be like I don't want to DNF it. I'm reading it for a video, obviously. So like I feel like I have to finish it, especially because like the reason I'd be DNFing it would be not be because like I'm not liking it, and I feel like that kind of puts a sour taste. Like, 'cause I am enjoying it, but it's just like I'm not in the mood for it. Might be one of those like right book, wrong time things, which I feel terrible about. But it is a book that I feel like I should revisit in the future, depending on how the rest of this book goes. Try to update you. We'll see if I update you again if I have anything else to say. If it maybe at the 75% mark, or I'll just update you when I finish it if I don't have anything else to say. I haven't read much more of the book or anything, but I just wanted to come and tell you I think it's me. We've hit a point I'm more interested. Not that I wasn't interested in before, but now I'm like into it. Like I was interested from the premise, and I feel like that's how I was feeling before, and now I'm like into it. It's been a hot minute since I have updated you, or just filmed this vlog in general. Context, I just got my wisdom teeth removed about a week ago, and so I was not up to filming. I didn't look good enough to film, and like my cheeks were all like puffed up, so you know, not like you could understand me anyways. So I held off finishing this book until today because I feel like look a bit presentable. I'm like slightly bruised. I finished The Sound of Stars and I'm giving it a 3.5. I looked at reviews too, and I realized like I'm not the only one that's feeling this way. Like other people were too, because I was like, am I missing something? This book is one of those books, like it sounds really great and there's definitely a lot to like about it, but I think there's also like a lot missing too from making it like a 5-star, or like, oh my goodness, it's like this like one of the most amazing books I've ever read, or even like a 4-star. At this point is what it's kind of like I'm stuck with the 3.5. I didn't hate this book, so I feel like, I don't know, like, there's a lot of 3 stars where I feel like I'm like, it was okay, whereas like I feel like this was better than okay, but it wasn't like all I wanted it to be. I think it could have been more than it was. Start on the negative note and end positive, because you know I don't want to be super negative about this book, because like I said, I don't hate it by any means. I think it's a solid. First off, the ending I didn't like. That I think I saw in reviews too. I think most people probably would agree, because the way this book ends is kind of setting it up for a sequel, and I think the author does want to actually write a sequel, so like if that is the intention, there's no like news about a sequel at this point in time in the works, but if the intention is there's gonna be a sequel, the ending is solid, great. I'm okay with that. I think this could be a great duology, so I'm hoping obviously that gets published. Otherwise it's kind of like open-ended. I know there's like another book that takes place in the same world, but it doesn't seem like it completely talks about the same sort of stuff. I feel like there's definitely like a lot more to delve into with the society and this world and stuff that's going on. I don't know, maybe it's just like the depth to the story. Is that what's missing? I feel like it's just missing some depth. I feel like, Or could it go deeper? Like, there just needed to be more, and I can't explain what that more was or what that something missing was, but I feel like it was like a big something. Like I said, I've had a bit more time to reflect on this book because it's been like a little bit since I've picked it up, and my brain is not working, I guess. I just wanted more out of this, and I didn't get it, because like concept-wise, like I said, when I pitched this book, like it sounds really cool, but execution just wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. I think that's like all I can really say about the negatives. I guess I want more out of this in all ways. I want more of a story, which is incredible because this book is like super slow paced too. I felt like there wasn't a lot of interesting parts. There's not a lot of parts I was super interested in. I wasn't just really interested in the post-apocalyptic world. That's a me thing, and I realized that. I'm not against post-apocalyptic world, but like it's not my favorite thing. Like it's not. A lot of them turn out to be the same. Or like dystopian. Like all dystopian books arguably are the same. We have like a corrupt government, and this kind of feels like dystopian in a way because we have the aliens taking over, and they're all corrupt and they're terrible, and so you want to rebel against them. And then, you know, like we find the problem and then rebel against the government and try to solve the problems. It's typically how every dystopian goes. After you read enough dystopians, typically you're like, okay, well I've read this book before, and I may or may not have liked the ending. But like they're all kind of the same. They all kind of have the same polymer lens. So once you read one, you've kind of read them all. Not in all cases, like, I know that's kind of, like, generalizing, but, like, you could generalize it with, like, romance, too. Like, you read a friends to lovers romance, you probably read all friends to lovers romances. You probably could do that, I guess, to some extent. Like, all things can be compared to each other. But they all, like, I don't know, dystopian's one of those things where it's very formulaic, whereas I feel like romance is formulaic to some extent, but I'm not doing a good job at pitching this. I hope you understand what I'm saying, to some extent. The rep in here was great. I loved that. That's why I wanted to pitch this book more too, because like there's like amazing representation in this book. We have a main character who is black, she's plus size, she's a book nerd, she's demisexual, she is bisexual or biromantic, which is cool. Like, name another science fiction book that has that. I will wait. You see my point here. That aside, that's great. I love to see it. The romance was freaking adorable. Like, I think that's definitely the highlight of the book for me, is definitely the romance. But I feel like I'm more, like, I actually am interested in sci-fi as a genre, that, like, I need more than the romance sometimes. I feel like, yeah, with, like, fantasy and sci-fi books, I need more than the romance to, you know, rate a book highly. If the only thing I'm really invested in is the romance, then I'm not gonna be invested in the story. Unless it's, like, a romance book, you know, where that's the point. I feel like when it's not a romance book, in specific, I need more to be invested in. And I guess there's, like, some things, but I wasn't, like, super interested, if that, like, you know, I'm invested in, like, her family being okay, like, you know, her family getting back to normal, and, like, her friend Alice, like, I want her to be okay, so there's, like, I guess some investment there. Like, I care, and I'm like, oh, this would be terrible if this happened, this would be a nightmare, but, again, like I said, want more. The romance was really, really sweet. I really liked the romance between Morris and Ellie. I called her Janelle. Her full name's Janelle. She's a lot of time referred to as Ellie in the book. Their relationship was really cute. It was really swoony. And, like, honestly, like, you don't really see, like, these kind of, like, soft, like, cinnamon roll kind of relationships. I feel like a lot, especially in, like, sci-fi in specific. Or even in, I feel like, a lot of romance in general. Like, this is, like, my kind of romance. So I definitely liked it. Like, I'm a sucker for, like, a cinnamon roll kind of romance where we have, like, a really soft... I feel like we don't see soft heroes often. Like, I can get behind a broody guy from time to time, but honestly, those aren't my favorite romance heroes a lot of the time. Like, I mean, like, yes, there's Captain Hook, but for the most part, like, there's a few times my brain is like, well, there's Hook, but then there's, like, also, like, Ronan, obviously. Ronan's pretty broody from the Raven Boys, but then there's, you know, we have Max and Shreve, for example, and Maxon's, like, you know, a soft cinnamon roll, we love him. So, like, you know, we want more Maxons or Maxwells. Maxwell Beaumont, my favorite fictional character of all time. I think we need more soft cinnamon roll heroes in romance and in books, in sci-fi in general. I just, in general, in books with romances, please give me more soft heroes, because I don't see enough of them, and I feel like the broody guys are always so popular, and, like, not with me. I am more of, like, I want a soft guy, like, you know, a guy who's just really sweet and soft and cute and adorable. Those are my faves. The romance is sweet. I liked the romance aspect. I want to read a book just for the romance that takes place in a post-apocalyptic world. Then this is great. And yeah, Morris was really cute. I really liked Ellie as a character a lot too. She's very relatable to me. I relate to her in so many ways. Like, she definitely felt, like, really real, because I think she had, like, that kind of real attachment. Like I said, I related to her a lot, so, you know,
her being relatable. Maybe the characters weren't flawed. Maybe that was the thing. Because obviously we're supposed to, we kind of root for Ellie. Like, I can't really think of a flaw that, like, either Ellie or Morris has. So that was missing. Like, I can't think of anything they did to, like, annoy me, which, like, they never did. They were kind of perfect almost. There's some things that are kind of shocking, but, like, they kind of make up for it, and, like, it's not annoying, I wouldn't say, or, like, a flaw. Like, I don't think they have flaws. So maybe that's part of it too. So as I talk my feelings out, I think I'm kind of understanding my thoughts a bit better, so maybe this is helping clarify my thoughts. But yeah, overall, I wanted this to be more than it was. It was still good. I would still recommend it. I liked it, but it could have been better, which is not what I want to say, because I was so excited for this book too. I was so excited to read this book. I had high expectations, and I should have lowered them, unfortunately. Now you're probably wondering if this book was in fact better than The Darkness Outside Us, and unfortunately you have chosen the wrong video, so I will leave a link here at the end of this video and you can get back on track.